Hi, I'm Mindy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing my mid-month wrap-up for the month of February, and so far in February I've read 5 books, and let's get right into them. I'm also really proud that 4 out of the 5 books are physical books off of my physical TBR, so that's great. The first one is Into the Forest and All the Way Through by Cynthia Palaio, and this is a super short collection of poetry that was the February book club pick for the Death by TBR book club hosted by Kelly Hooked on Books and Fiber Artsy. And this is actually true crime poetry. And each poem is about a specific case of a missing or murdered woman and, ongoing cases. And she gives information about the case and where you can call if you have information about this case, which I think was a really good idea. And it was very powerful and hard to read. I like how this book is kind of designed with the interior kind of artwork, kind of just, yeah, artwork. It's pretty. And it was very, very touching and, scary in a real kind of way, because these are actual disappearances, these are actual murders, and it's kind of a lot. But I really loved that book. The next book that I finished was Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes, and this is a 40 before 40 book, which is one of my goals, to finish my 40 before 40 this year. Really now it's the 40 before 50, or 40 before 43, because I'm already 42. The end of the year I'll be 43. So yeah, I got to get this 40 before 40 done, people. But I'm also read this for the February Rewind, hosted by, it came from the page, and the prompt that this one fit was to finish a book that's been left unfinished, or, you DNF for now kind of thing. Perfect for me, because I have a few of those, and this one I only had less than 100 pages left. I just ran out of time in the month, and then had a huge TBR to get started on for the next month, and it just kind of sat there for a while, but I'm glad I finally went back to it, and it was so good. This is about a person with a low IQ who gets chosen to do this experimental drug trial, no, it's not a drug trial, it's a brain surgery that will increase his IQ, and it does. First they did study on a mouse, and the mouse's name is Algernon, and the man and the mouse kind of have this special relationship, and then it goes through the whole process of going from a very low IQ up to brilliance, beyond brilliant. Very, very, very interesting book, and perhaps some outdated or unkind words for people with lower IQs, but it is an older book. It's a modern classic. What is the date on it? 1959. He was not treated the kindest always by family or friends, and he doesn't even realize it until he gets smarter and realizes what they were doing. sad. The next book that I finished was The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This is the first book in the King Killer Chronicle, and this is one of the oldest books on my physical TBR. And it is my goal, one of my goals for the year, to finish my oldest books on my TBR. Also, one of the prompts on the February Rewind, hosted by It Came From the Page, is to read one of the oldest books on your TBR, so it fit that purpose as well. I'm also read this for a vlog that I'm doing for chunky books on my physical TBR. So, one book, 3 stones, very happy about it, and also very happy about this book to report that this is a 5-star book and it is one of my favorite fantasies. I am a sucker for an underdog story, a chosen one story. It's about this older man who owns and works in a bar, and then you come to find out that he's this warrior, this famous person, one of the most powerful mages or whatever, and then he's telling a reporter his story of what happened, how he came to be in this nowhere town running a bar. And this book is all about his childhood, growing up, and into his teen years. And I'm guessing the story goes on from there, and he'll be more older in the second book, which I am really looking forward to reading. I hope someday we get the third book, but if not, I'm actually happy with where this one ended. I will cherish this book, but I do look forward to reading the second one. And I'm hoping that one doesn't end in a cliffhanger or something. But yeah, 5-star book. Love this fantasy. So glad I finally read it, because I've had it for so many years. Next, I finished an audiobook for Different Seasons by Stephen King. And this was the January book club pick for the Stephen King read-along, which is hosted by the Bookish Drummer and Ian the Reader. Different Seasons is a fantastic novella collection with 4 novellas in it. There is Rita Hayworth and The Shawshank Redemption. I love the movie Shawshank Redemption, and I loved the novella as well. This is actually my favorite in the collection. It's about a man in Shawshank prison and all of the things that happen in there. The second novella was Apt Pupil. Apt Pupil is so dark. I think this has to be one of the darkest things that Stephen King has written. It follows a boy who becomes obsessed with this old man who he finds out is a Nazi who ran one of the concentration camps and did horrible things. And he is obsessed with this. He fantasizes about all the horrible things that this man did, and they form a very dark, twisted relationship. And it's about the horrible things that humans can do to each other. There were some things that I thought went too far. I will give the trigger warnings for essay and torture of an animal. It was Merle bad. So this is my least favorite, even though it was like compellingly written. And a lot of it was really good. And I do like a dark story, but those couple of elements made it not as good. Not as good. Would rather not, thank you. Then there was The Body, which is what Stand By Me movie was based on. And The Body I actually really loved. There were a lot of recognizable parts from the movie, but I just loved this like classic coming of age story. The kids in this are dealing with a lot in their lives, and they set on this adventure to see a dead body of a kid that they heard is in the forest somewhere, or down the train tracks somewhere, possibly got hit by a train, and they just think that is the best idea, and it's quite the journey. Things happen along the way, and ends up not being the coolest thing ever like they thought it would be. Experiencing death firsthand, looking at a dead body that's been dead for a while, like, it's not all it's cracked up to be, really. Come to find out. So The Body was my second favorite novella in the collection. I love coming of age stories, and I love these kids. Oh. But there was a story that the main character wrote, because he's like this writer, and it's very fat phobic. I was like, I do remember, I think that's part of the movie though, like the opening scene. Now I need to watch Stand By Me again, but I definitely remembered that part from a movie, and I'm pretty sure it was the Stand By Me. And the last novella in different seasons is The Breathing Method. This is probably the most tame of all of the novellas. It is about a woman, a pregnant woman, who wants to use the breathing method to breathe through her pain in birth and not use drugs. And she practices it. Anyway, actually, it's a story within a story, because it's about this club where gentlemen from this company that are stiff suits during the day, they go to this club and they tell these raunchy or scary or pulpy stories to each other that they wouldn't be able to share anywhere else. And the breathing method is one of them. And I did enjoy this story. King was writing at his best in this, I think, with some little Kingisms that I'm not the hugest fan of. But for the most part, these were so well written. It's so engaging. Such great novellas. The Breathing Method, third favorite, because Apt Pupil, with those couple of horrible scenes, went down to last. That's different seasons. And then the last book that I finished in the first half of February for this mid-month wrap-up is the one by John Mars. This is a thriller, and it's the perfect thriller to have read in February, the month of love. I read this for the John Mars read-along, hosted by the Bookish Drummer, chapter conundrum and Ian the Reader. This is about a dating site where they take your DNA and they match it with your perfect match, the one that you're supposed to be with, that you will instantly have a connection to. They have discovered this gene that causes love at first sight. And they kind of harness that, find a test for it. And now you can find your perfect match. And this is about things that can go wrong with that situation. There are 5 different stories in this, and they were all instantly, completely engrossing for me. I couldn't wait to read more about every single story. Should I say what the 5 stories are in general? There's a woman who finds out her match is dead. There's a woman who finds out that her match is in Australia, on the other side of the world. There is follow the perspective of the serial killer and his match. Then there is the woman who created or found the gene for the one, for the perfect match, and her match. And finally, there is a straight man who is matched with another straight man. All of the stories were completely compelling, and I had to keep turning the pages to find out what was going to happen. I love this thriller. It's a 5-star thriller, one of my favorite thrillers, and I don't know if it'll be, for everyone, but it definitely worked for me, and it was a perfect time of year to read it. So I'm completely happy with this being my final book in this update. I would love to know if you've read any of these books. What did you think of them? And I will be back very soon with another book-related video. Thanks. Bye.